Hi, welcome to Infinity and Beyond with the Collective Consciousness of the Children. And today I'd really like to talk about grief. And I'd like to talk about grief from the very specific vantage point of anytime we are in a transition, anytime we are moving from one reality to another, from one station in life to another, there's always some sense of grief or loss that comes with letting go of the past and moving on into the future, right? That's as basic as it can get. But what's interesting is in order to really move, kind of headlong into what we are each being called to move into at this next station of our lives, we really have to give ourselves the opportunity to not only feel into the grief and honor it, but also integrate it as part of our being, because the integration of that energy actually kind of provides the fuel for what is going to take place next. So in this segment today, I'd like to do a little bit of energy work just around supporting that grief and getting integrated, supporting it in being felt, and we'll just kind of notice what shows up and how we might want to do that today. So if you'll just take a few deep breaths and maybe even close your eyes and relax for a second. And as you close your eyes and relax, pay attention to where grief might be held in your body. You know, is grief held around your heart, and is it closing your heart? Is grief being held in your gut? Maybe it's, almost feeling like it's tensing up those stomach muscles. Just notice where the grief is, right? And as you notice where the grief is, if you'll just sink into it, you'll be present to it, almost as if you were just witnessing it, noticing it, feeling it just for the sake of feeling it. No story needs to be told. It just is what it is. It just is sadness, or it is grief. And as you are present to that grief, sorry for a little bit of a background noise, as you're present to that grief, start breathing into it. Breathe into it. Breathe into it. And let's talk to it. We'll use a light language just so we talk to it kind of above the level of the mind, just so we can kind of loosen it up, so we can remind it of what its purpose actually is. The purpose is to fuel the next kind of iteration of our experience. So, kekekena matakoto, nanimatarikiri satriya sammatakio ekekena matukuria seterima kachochurikurimete. Se matakira korea tai si tarikina matakira korea om atakire sai chicha. Ekena moyo ketate saisam. So just let the sound of the words, the sound soothe the grief. It's like it turns the grief in on itself, not in a negative way, but in a way where it kind of uses itself to support itself, right? So let's go ahead and call on the innocence of the children, or the collective consciousness of the children, and ask that energy to just come in and imprint in the heart or in the gut, wherever you're feeling that grief. Just allow that energy to come in and imprint. The collective consciousness of the children, or the innocence that you are, kind of knows that transition is just part of it. It's just part of life, right? And no matter where we are in life, we can really see that transition as something that's pretty darn exciting. something to look forward to, but not if grief kind of has us in its grip. So we're just allowing the collective consciousness of the children, the innocence, to kind of imprint into wherever that grief is held. So always say. And if there's any debris, if there's any parts of that grief that just love being there, you know, any parts of that grief that just want to hold on, then let's go ahead and allow that blue being aspect of us, or the totality of us, to kind of come in and just collect it up. It's almost like watching a hand come into the heart, or watching a hand come into the stomach, the solar plexus, wherever that grief is held, and just collecting it up. It's just moving in gently, naturally, organically. It's almost scooping up all of that energy that just no longer serves. It doesn't have a purpose at this point. You know, it's either going to fuel your journey forward, or it needs to be recycled into something else. So just let it come out. And that information will actually place into a sphere. We'll add a blue star to that sphere and spin all that information out. You just don't need it anymore. We're going to recycle it. And then once you've cleared that sphere, compress and condense it, and bring it right back into the heart or the gut, wherever that grief was, and implode it into billions of frequencies of light. Implode it into the new pattern that you're getting ready to walk into, or that you've already begun to walk into. All right? Okay. So, all right. So if you've closed your eyes and you want to reopen your eyes, be present again. A little bit more noise in the background, ducks flying by. So, all right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me today. And this will shift grief beautifully, easily, effortlessly. We've got a lot to do moving forward, so you might want to use this one often. So lots of love, everybody. Bye for now.